Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Pantasy brick sets. Hey everyone, Ryan here, and today we're taking a look at 5 different Pantasy brick building sets. You may even recognize the Pantasy Astro Boy that I took a look at about a year ago on the channel, but now we're going to be taking a look at way more because they reached out to sponsor another video and sent along these 5 awesome sets. Pantasy is a brand founded in 2020. All of their products are originally designed by their design team, and they work with various IPs to provide high-quality, officially licensed block products for adult brick fans. Now, if you are interested in buying any of them, there'll be links down in the description below, and if you use code MNRPantasy, you'll get 15% off. They said that code's good until the end of 2023. I'll go through with all the statistical info on these sets as we go, but just so you know, the price range here is $90 to $120, which was kind of surprising to me, just because of how different the box size is between Pantasy POPEYE and the iGame. Anyway, I'm going to save what I think is the best for last in POPEYE, so we're going to set this to the side for now. And the first one we're going to check out and unbox is the 85004 iGame Gaming Desktop. Now this one sells for $90 and has over 1,000 pieces. I just don't know the exact piece count. It also boasts having pad printed bricks inside, as you can see on the side of the box. Pad printing, which means we should have a nicely detailed PC in there. The back of the box highlights the PC parts inside and shows off that it has a LED lighting kit, which should make this one look pretty spiffy. Now the unboxing. Let's see what we got inside. The pink bags feel so unique to Pantasy. Even the numbering there is in pink with the number 7 on that particular bag. Looks like we got 2 over here, but I really love that they have the pink there. It really kind of ties together the branding. Anyway, inside of our instruction manual, it looks like not pad printed, looks like a couple stickers included. I'll be keen to see where those go. Now inside of the instructions, we have a good write-up about the PC, almost like a UCS set. The back of the manual advertises quite a few other lines that they offer, including some that we'll be taking a look at later in this video. And it explains exactly what each bag is going to be building. Overall, they're very normal brick building instructions that you shouldn't have much trouble following. So here's our finished iGame gaming PC. It's a very compact model that'll fit nicely on your desk for your display. It actually does look really good, and it's got an open side to it where you can actually see the interior of the PC very easily. On the exterior, we have the 3-dimensional logo, which actually uses the drum lacquered silver, and it looks really good, really pops. Always love that silver color. We have the iGame logo, which also pops off the side of the build. On top of the PC, we have the power switch as well as a few different colored bricks, and we'll get to what those are for later. On the front panel, we have a sticker with the logo that goes over the 2x4 tiles, and then some nice contouring down the front center of the PC. Now the inside of this thing I think is where it gets really fun. We have all the different parts of the PC represented here. We'll start on the bottom where we have our power. We can actually remove this. Pretty much everything inside of here is removable, but the whole thing comes out just like that. You can take it in, take it out. It's kind of modular in a way where if you wanted to build your own sections for this PC, you could, and then you could swap them out. On this next section, we have the hard disk drive, and these sections are also removable. Pretty cool. You can pull one out. You can pull 2 out. Very simple builds, but just the idea being there I think is really neat. Next we have my favorite part, and that is the graphics card. It's easily removable, and on one side it's completely printed. It says GeForce RTX on there, and it looks really nice. Every single tile on here is pad printed. On the other side though, we do have the sticker with the fans, and this one I understand being a sticker because you do have to lay it across multiple bricks, and if you had little spaces in there on the fans especially, it would look particularly bad. So the sticker actually works really nicely here. This also makes use of that silver color that we saw earlier, and it has a pad printed iGame logo on the top. But when you want to put this back in, it's got this little stud here, lines up with that little stud there, and just like that, you're good to go. Now, this entire white section here is the motherboard, and this is also where we have the RAM, which is also removable like everything else on this set. It's got pad printing on there that says iGame, iGame. It's got the logo, and again, the pad printing is very nice here. Both of these RAM pieces are completely removable. You could build your own if you want and stick them in. I really love that about this, but you'll get those placed back in. So as you can tell, the build is pretty strong. I'm pretty happy with the strength of the build. I wouldn't shake it around like a spaceship or anything, but it is a strong enough build for what it is. Now, the big feature that you may see hanging off the back here is this USB port, and that's because this also has lights integrated into it. So you just need a simple USB wall outlet, or plug it into your computer, I guess, and you plug it right in, and there it lights right up. It adds a nice bit of life to your build, and definitely would look very good on display. Overall, I think this is a really cool model of a gaming PC. Just lovely little build here. And it's actually based off a real gaming PC, so you can see the similarities there. It's pretty neat. The cabin's packaging has some very subtle wood tones to it that are really cool and really match the vibe of the set, but this one does have 2,000 pieces for $110. This cabin build is absolutely beautiful, and like I said, only $110. This thing is massive for $110. This is something that I would expect to cost about $200 given its size and just its weight when you pick it up. This thing is a very, very nice model. Now, we're going to start on the exterior, which is really modular. It's actually really cool. What you can do with this is all these sections you see on the outside, which we'll go in depth on in a second, are actually removable from the exterior, and you can lift them up. You can completely throw them away and not use them if you really don't want to and you just want the cabin. But even cooler is you can take them and you can place them on the other side of the build, and you can set it up in some nice different ways that might fit your setup better or your personal liking better. And so that is a really neat aspect about this set, is just being able to switch around these different sections. Now this section is pretty beautiful. It's got some large trees on it. It's got a hot tub in the middle on a wooden stand. I love the way the hot tub looks. And then we've got some flowers and little walkway leading out of it. Overall, a nice little section that you can throw onto the side of the build. And the same can be said for your barbecue and little sand pit section where you have a sand castle. You've got some of the tools to create the sand castle. And then for the barbecue, you actually have a hot dog on the grill, which is a nice detail, although it definitely could have used a clip so that it doesn't fall off so easily. There is also a nice table with an umbrella included. Overall, another nice little section that you can throw onto the side of your build. Like I said, this cabin is massive. It's a pretty hefty model, and including the side bits is a pretty good value for your money. Now, we want to take a close look starting at the very front where we actually have a mailbox. That's pretty cute. There's a planter on the other side with some stairs leading up to a nice deck. And on that deck, we actually have a trash can. And in the trash can, there is a cat. I don't know why there's a cat in the trash can, but we can use the cat later, so we'll get him out of there. Now, we also have a little dog sitting on the front porch. He's pretty cute. And my favorite build on the front of this is the cactus. As soon as I saw it, I thought that was the coolest use of that little hairbrush piece that you could probably ever have. Just gotta love the cactuses that they included on the front of the build here. We got lamps, we got a birdhouse, and of course the doorway to get inside of the build is on a slider, so you can slide it open. There's the same exact door on the back of the build here. Very easy to use on both sides to run your characters in and out if you have any. Now, of course, the sliding door is not how you're going to want to access the set. They actually made it so that you can remove the entire top panels of the set. They just come right off, so they're not really attached with any studs. They just lay into the top of the build here. So we'll pull the other one off just like that. Put them off to the side. And now we have full access to the cabin's interior, and there is a lot to unpack here. My favorite part on the inside has to be the foosball table, and then we have the cat house, which is kind of cute too. We can take the cat and put him on there. Just like that, good to go and play. We've got a ship on the bookshelf here, along with a little printed map above that. Nice detail. We got a little coffee table and chair in the corner. Overall, the top floor is just beautiful. Very nice details in there. And kind of low-key at the top here, they even included a ceiling fan, which makes more use of that nice silver color we saw on the gaming PC. Now, if you want to access the bottom floor, you actually take the entire top floor off and just put it over here. Now, entering the bottom floor, we have a checkered table with a candle on top. There's 5 chairs around it. We've got a nice plant leading us into the kitchen where you'll find a coffee maker, plenty of storage in there, as well as an exhaust hood. Now, the instruments for the stovetop are especially detailed using printed tiles that look amazing. They've got plenty of intricate detail on those things. And now we move into the living area where you'll see the stairwell. Really like the stairs that lead up to that second floor that we had just a minute ago. You can see the way those lead right into it. We've got a TV, a fireplace, and a nice sand green couch in the living area. There's also some nice paintings on the wall there. And then there is a little door here on the side. You can open and close that. And through that door, we actually have the bedroom. And the bedroom is pretty sizable. It's got a nice little white carpet on there, kind of like we saw in the living space. We also have a nicely furnished bed with a large comforter on it. Love that sand blue color that they used. And then there's actually a printed TV on the front of it. The TV's turned off, but it is printed on. That has kind of got like the reflection that you would see on a TV. Pretty dang cool. And then finally, again, we have that back door that leads us to the back of the cabin house. For $110, this thing seems like an excellent value, and as you saw, there are a ton of intricate small details on this, more than I could even talk about in this video. So loving the cabin house. This is definitely one of my favorites from Pantasy so far. Moving on to our Metal Slug 3 set, the packaging has a very nice gaming feel to it, both on the front and the back, and inside you're going to find 1,200 pieces at a price of $120. Metal Slug 3 is not something I knew of before this video, but it does seem like a pretty cool arcade machine, and it has some killer functions for something that is brick built. It actually does some really cool stuff. Now, just starting out with the overall aesthetics, I think the red, white, and blue color scheme off the bat is pretty nice. It does a nice job of really popping if you wanted to put it on a display with your other builds. Like, it's definitely going to stand out there. Included is a gold Pantasy coin, and this is how you actually allow yourself to play the game. You put it right in the coin slot like so, and now you can play the game. You can pull the lever, press the buttons. We'll get to that in a second, but if you really want to retrieve that coin, there's actually a little hatch on the side where you can pull your coin back out before you place it back in to play again. It's pretty cool. Now this set actually includes 4 minifigures. All of them have leg printing, all of them have arm printing, just very beautifully detailed minifigs for this. It also includes little bricks next to each of them that have the character names on there. And then if we look at the back, there's actually these little cards that have the screen for the game on the back there. Now the coolest function here is the swing rocker, and that is this thing here. And when you push it up, it actually will rotate this section with the figures on it. And there's actually a whole nother section underneath there. It's kind of hidden under here. And so when you push this up, it brings out a tank. That's amazing. Like, it's just a tank in some scenery. It's flying along because it actually changes the background too to be the background where the tank is supposed to be moving along. So you can see these cards kind of switch out as we switch between scenes. So it's pretty neat to see happen. And if we let go of this, it does revert back to the minifigure scene because the tank is so heavy, its weight just kind of flips it no matter what. So it always does revert back to the figure scene, but boy, does that tank look cool there. I love that this is like the main function of the build. It's really cool, works really nice. You can kind of smash it. Like, it's very, very strong, very sturdy. So definitely a well-built, well-thought-out part of the set. Now, there are 4 buttons here. Yellow and blue don't do anything. I can push them as hard as I want. They don't actually have a function built into them, but the dark red button actually does. So when you press that red button, it opens your little ammo box here, and it's got a little PVC sticker, and actually the stickers on this build are a different type of sticker than you might be used to. They specifically call them PVC. They're a bit of a stronger, stiffer type of sticker than you would see otherwise, and it definitely feels a little bit higher quality than normal stickers. So definitely an upside versus the regular stickers that you would see. And it's something that you wouldn't be able to print across like 5 different sized bricks, so it definitely makes sense to use a nice high quality sticker here. Now the last feature is this little green button, and this one's pretty cool too. You've got this machine gun on the side of the build. When you press on this sticker, it makes the machine gun actually move. Pretty neat. Obviously intended to be firing up at the tank, but seeing that machine gun move is definitely a marvel to me. So love the look of that one, and overall a very good looking build for an arcade machine. I love the representation of the screen with kind of the black bezel that makes you really feel like you're looking into an actual arcade machine here. There's the bottom in case you really wanted to know, but yeah, pretty cool build with a surprising amount of neat functions. Now the Pantasy ASTROBOY build will cost you $110 or $120 if you want it with the lighting kit. This one has 1,258 pieces, and I don't know if the lighting kit is in here or not, so we're gonna open it and find out. This is my second experience with ASTROBOY, and he's just as cool as he was the first time for me. And in the instructions here, they actually have some cool thematic progress bars that keep you updated on your progress throughout the build. I think of all the builds we look at today, this might be the best one for display because of its compact size, but still a really striking look, where you've got 50% of it that is kind of the human look for ASTROBOY, and the other 50% is the complete mechanical insides of ASTROBOY. And that half and half look is not something you can get in many brick building sets, so I think that's a very, very unique aspect to ASTROBOY here. On the back of ASTROBOY, we have a black spine, and this is actually what holds him up, so you could also hold it like a handle, but it is what holds ASTROBOY and makes him stand as well as he does, so very nice that we have that integrated there. They printed the little display plaque as well as the eye, the eyebrow, and the half of the mouth that you can see there. On the flesh side of things, we have a posable arm, posable hand, so you can actually move these around and kind of pose it in a different way if you want to. And then on the mechanical side, we have the same shoulder joint, but we actually have an added elbow joint along with the wrist, and then all 5 of his fingers that can be moved into whatever position you want them to. Technically, his legs have posability too, but because they have him on the stand completely held straight up, you don't really get to make much use out of that. But you can see some of the movement here where you can actually slightly change the angle of the leg if you really want to. Now this set makes really good use of that drum lacquered silver and drum lacquered gold here. It really pops on this one in particular because of how much it gets used all throughout to create some of the intricate interior mechanical details on the Astro Boy. Now you may have noticed this hanging off the back, and it's another USB because of course this thing also has some lights in him. Now they do give you the option with this piece here to plug in a watch battery to power him as well, so you don't actually have to plug this into a wall outlet or into a computer or anything. You can literally just power it with a battery. However, I'm just going to plug it into a USB port because I think that's a little easier. It looks really amazing lit up. You've got the eye with some blue, and then the heart is actually beating here with a separate light. I love that it's beating. It really adds life to Astro Boy, and like this would just look really cool on a nighttime display in the dark. But if you flip it around, you'll actually find this board here, and you actually change the speed of the beating heart, which is pretty cool. So you can actually move this little piece down, and as you can now see, the heart is beating with a significantly different pattern. And if we move it down again, a bit of a different pattern, and then you can actually twist this knob to make it speed way up. You can see it going really, really fast there, or slow it way down. So you have a lot of options as far as that light goes. Like I said, I think this might be the best display model we look at today. It's just so cool. It's really eye-catching, and the light integration is amazing on this one with the beating heart. You just don't see that kind of stuff very often. So I think Pantasy knocked it out of the park with the Astro Boy, and I think if you're a fan of Astro Boy, this is an officially licensed product. Like, it's an amazing pickup, so really like this one. Now, I saved the best for last with this massive Popeye set. It has some beautiful box art out on the open ocean with the sunset in the background. The back of the box has a map that highlights a bunch of the play features on the way, and inside you're gonna find over 1,800 pieces, and this one comes in at just $120, tying it for the most expensive set we'll be looking at today. Popeye Steamship is ridiculous in the best way possible. This thing is massive, it's extremely detailed, and it has a shocking amount of features and functions and little tiny details that you wouldn't think would be there, but they are. There's so many things to get through on this. But again, for $120, this is absurdly big. I love the value for money just off the bat, on top of the fact that a lot of the parts in here are pad printed, which is something you like to see a lot, but there are also some stickers on the set that you're going to see on some of these larger curved pieces. You do get 5 characters in the set with Popeye and Olive and Sweepy and Bluto and Jeep, and it's really cool to see a mixture of minifigures and mini dolls in this one, and they're all really detailed, including side leg printing on Popeye and Bluto. So I'm very impressed with the character selection, and you can definitely use these guys to bring life to your ship when you put it on display, or if you want to play with it. So if you want to pick up Popeye's Steamship here, you can just lift it away from the stand. It's actually not connected on the bottom with any studs. It just lays flat on this little black platform. We've also got a Popeye sticker here across 5 different plates for the display plate. The first function we have is this anchor, and you can actually just pull the anchor out, and now you have the ship anchored in place. You can spin this knob right here to bring the anchor back into the ship, and so you can kind of lock it into place there, and now it's back where it began. All 3 portholes are pad printed, and that is true on both sides of the steamship. However, there is one small difference on this side of the steamship, and that is right here. And if you push this little piece up, you actually gain access to an entire interior section. So there's what looks like a pad printed map here, pad printed anchor plate. You can move this piece to make the drill on the bottom here move. There's a treasure chest with actual treasure inside of it. And then of course, because it's Popeye, there is an entire weight room. And you can lift both these plates away from the interior platform, so you can actually use them on their own. And if you want, you can take your 500-pound, or I guess total 1,000-pound barbell, and place it for one of your characters to try and lift. Now right next to all that, we have a little can of green spinach, and if we actually place that up on the table, lift that up, it's actually the automatic can opener. So spinning this knob spins the can, and that is a really cool little function on there to have a little bit of fun with. So a lovely little couple of interior sections, and you do have to put the barbell back to be able to place it back on, otherwise it would interfere with the side wall of the boat. But nicely stored inside of the ship is a shockingly great interior. We have the steering wheel for the boat up here. It doesn't actually physically do anything other than spin, but you can actually have Popeye man the boat there, which is pretty neat. You have a gauge over to his right, and then on his left, you actually have the lever for speed on the boat to give it more power or less power, which is really cool to see. And then of course earlier we saw this is the knob for the anchor. There's a nicely printed strong tile behind all of that, and overall there's just a ton of space on the front here. Now the final thing we'll see in this front section is you can take Bluto, place him on this little platform, and then you can take Popeye under him, maybe put his hand up in a punching motion, because if you push down this little brown piece here, it'll actually make him fly off into the water like Popeye just hit him in the chin. Really cool play feature included on the set. It's something small, but just adds a lot of life to it. On the side here, we've got a bunch of tools as well as a harpoon gun, which is holding a fish. Above all of that, we actually have a telescope section where you can, again, take a minifigure, and there's some studs in there that they can stand on, and the telescope can move up and down ever so slightly to look in different directions. On the sails, you have the printed Popeye logo, which looks really cool, but we'll place that off to the side because now we can see inside the ship, and there are a ton of gauges and little instruments inside of this boat, all pad printed, very beautiful, all unique for this boat. I think it's just really cool to see. You've also got some coal kind of spilled on the floor, and you can open it up to place the coal into the engine so that it can actually burn and give you power. That's how the steamships work. So really cool to see that part of it represented too. And there's very luckily plenty of space in here. It's not like you just have a couple of studs to place one figure on. I mean, you have ample space to stick your hand in, move the character around to different sections, and play around in there. It's actually really cool that they give you so much space there. Also, another highlight in here is that printed tile of Popeye and Olive. Very cool. The smokestack here has large stickers of Olive on both sides, which is pretty neat, and it's completely removable, just like that front section with the sails and the mast. So you get a good view of the smokestack here. It's even got some of that drum lacquered gold on top, just looks beautiful. And you can actually get a better view of some of the area where you're throwing the coal into in there. And on the side of there, you'll see even more printed gauges that'll give you the temperature and the pressure for what's going on inside of the steam boiler. Very cool, small details, but really just, you know, tells you they went the extra mile. But there's just barely enough space on the side of it too. If you really want to place another figure inside of there, you really can if you want. Also, I love that they included the cleaning supplies and the little platform on top of the smokestack. Just a small side note. Anyway, that is it for that top middle section. And as we move to the back of the steamship, you'll actually find the steam function where if you twist this little knob, you have a little steam coming out of the back here. Everything moves, and it makes little steam stacks move up and down. Just another lovely feature. There's so many gears built into here. I don't think I've ever seen more gears on a brick building set than I'm seeing on this one, moving all in unison. You can see the tread pieces here moving down, and they'll come back up on the other side. There's even more gears on the inside of the boat that you can barely see. It's pretty crazy how much they integrated into this one just to get the function of this moving up and down and like making the whole side of the boat look extra cool. Like, love that. The propeller on the bottom of the boat also spins when you're turning the knob, so it's got movement all throughout the back end of the boat when you're using the knob. It's really cool. It does make me kind of wish it was motorized so it could kind of do it on its own, and maybe it could even move itself within water, but of course at $120 I would never expect to have a motorized function like that for this. It's already a good enough value as is. Now on this back sail, we've got a couple different printed pieces that combine to make one nice loyal logo there, red flag on top, and then you've got the large spinach can on the bottom. Now this is just a large sticker that goes all the way around the cylindrical piece, but looks very nice on the back end of the boat. And then finally we have our treasure hunting rowboat here. You can spin it to the back of the boat and then use this knob on the side to lower the rowboat down into the water below, and then when you want to release it, you actually have to disconnect the pieces here. And so with the rowboat disconnected, you can add characters in, and in this case I have Popeye rowing Olive off to find some treasure or something. So love that little feature, and it's something that you can just hang off the side of the boat if you want, or you can remove it completely. It's nice to have the options. For $120, I think Popeye's ship is the best value for money that we've seen today. This thing is just an incredible size for the price, and it's an incredibly detailed build with so many small pad prints inside, just incredible attention to detail and small functions. Just a lovely experience all around with Popeye's steamship here. I'm a big fan of this one, and I never thought I would own anything Popeye in my life. As much as I liked the cartoon growing up, it was just something I never saw myself owning anything physical of, but here I am. I have Popeye's steamship, and it's definitely blown my expectations out of the water. After having looked at all 5 of these fantasy brick building sets, I think my favorite is the Popeye's steamship. It's just so large for $120 and has such immense attention to detail with so many small pad printed bricks. I just love that. The other models are also very good too, and they have some really great highlights, but that there is my favorite. So if you guys want to buy any of these models, make sure you use the link in the description below and code M&R Pantasy to get 15% off before the end of the year. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more of my videos. See ya.